Mabuhay everyone! This is our second video for our Filipino American History Month celebration. We will just be adding on to our first video about Pistahan Parade and Festival. Fortunately, we got some more information as opposed to what we did last video. We were just going off the top of our head. So we got some information from our pal Al Perez. We will be reading from what he said. He just wanted to add, because of our local history, the Pistahan is held on every second weekend in August and not in June for Philippine independence like most Filipino festivals here in the US. So that's what separates Pistahan from the rest of the other Filipino celebrations held in June to coincide with, Philippine independence, which is on June 12. And he adds, on August 4, 1977, the mostly Filipino tenants of the apartment building called the International Hotel, or I Hotel, were forcibly evicted by the police in the middle of the night. So, the I Hotel was the very last building in the area called Manila Town. Also, there was a Manila Town in San Francisco. There was 11 blocks of Filipino neighborhood where early Filipino immigrants put down roots and found a community. The Filipino community was displaced and destroyed to make room for the development of SF Financial District. At the time, it was called Urban Renewal. 20 years later, history repeated itself and 4,000 families who lived in the Yerba Buena neighborhood were again displaced to make room for the redevelopment of the Moscone Convention Center, Metreon Mall, Yerba Buena Center for the Arts, Yerba Buena Theater, and the Yerba Buena Gardens. The first incident was the I Hotel, and then 20 years later was the Yerba Buena Gardens. So there were two main incidents where Filipino families or Filipino residents were evicted. He adds, like you mentioned, the Pistahan was founded to honor the legacy and roots of Filipino community that lived there. Some of the founders of the Pistahan lived in the I Hotel and were part of the community activism that tried to save it. So when it was time to decide on the date for Pistahan, they wanted to memorialize these two significant evictions of the Filipino community together. The Pistahan is held on the second weekend of August to follow the fall of the I Hotel, which took place on the first weekend of August. To correct our first video, I thought that the Yerba Buena incident was in the 70s and 80s, so apparently the real date was 20 years later, so 1977 plus 20 years, 1997. Yeah, so at least we got the timeline correct. And lastly, shout out to the founders of the Filipino American Arts Exposition and Pistahan: Carlos Villa, Lenny Limhoco, Oscar Peñaranda, Maria Luisa Escalambre, and Luz de Leon. These are the proprietors of Pistahan, and they lived in the I Hotel during that time. So, it's amazing to have these stories about resilience wherein pioneers of the Filipino American community stood together, and each year Pistahan Parade and Festival commemorates who fought for their rights during this very, dark time.